The call didn't come in screaming. It never does. It arrived the way most emergency calls arrive, quietly, unannounced, slipping into the system like a breath held too long. A soft electronic chime. A blinking line on a screen. Another number waiting to be answered. At 2:41 a.m., the city was mostly asleep. Streetlights hummed over empty roads. Apartment windows glowed faintly, televisions murmuring in the background of lives that felt safe enough to rest. Somewhere, a train horn sounded in the distance, long and lonely, then faded into the night. Inside the Regional Emergency Communications Center, the air was artificial and stale. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting everything in the same tired shade of white. Rows of desks faced computer monitors filled with maps, call logs, and status codes only dispatchers truly understood. This place never slept. It couldn't afford to. Mara Ellison had been on shift for nearly 7 hours. She sat upright in her chair, headset resting against one ear, fingers hovering near the keyboard out of habit rather than urgency. Her coffee had gone cold an hour ago, but she hadn't noticed. Dispatchers learned quickly not to rely on warmth. Coffee, light, comfort, none of it lasted. What lasted were voices. She had already handled a domestic dispute, a drunk driver wrapped around a guardrail, and a call from a child who thought his father had stopped breathing. Only for the man to wake up angry and confused when paramedics arrived. Those were the kinds of calls that stayed with you. But they weren't the worst ones. The worst ones were quieter. The line lit up. Mara inhaled, steady and practiced, and answered. 911, what is your emergency? For half a second, there was nothing. Just background noise, a low, uneven sound, like wind passing through a narrow space, or breathing, stretched thin. Then a voice. Hello? It was faint. Male. Young, maybe late teens or early 20s. The sound wavered as if the phone wasn't meant to be held where it was. Yes, Mara said calmly. I'm here. Tell me what's happening. Another pause. The word cut off, followed by a sharp inhale. I need help. Mara straightened slightly. Okay, I can help you. Where are you calling from? The sound on the line changed. There was a dull thud, then a strained exhale, like someone shifting their weight in a tight space. I don't know exactly. That wasn't unusual. People in panic often lost their sense of place. Mara glanced at her screen, already checking for automatic location data. Nothing locked in yet. That's all right, she said. We'll figure it out together. Can you tell me what you see around you? The breathing grew heavier. I can't see much. Are you indoors or outdoors? Inside, I think. Think. That word mattered. Mara typed quickly, documenting every response. Timestamps mattered, words mattered, everything mattered. Are you hurt? She asked. Yes. One word. No hesitation. Tell me where you're hurt. My chest and my arms. I can't really move. The sound shifted again. Fabric rubbing, something creaking softly. Mara's fingers paused. Are you trapped? Another long breath. Yes. That was enough to escalate the call. Mara flagged the line for priority handling, her voice remaining level despite the subtle tightening in her chest. Panic fed panic. Calm was the only currency that worked. Okay, she said. I need you to stay with me. Help is available, but I need more information. Do you know what caused you to be trapped? Silence. Then, quieter than before. I was just trying to get something. Those words carried something heavy in them. Regret, maybe. Confusion. The kind of sentence people replayed later, over and over, wishing it had ended differently. What were you trying to get? Mara asked gently. My bag. Another thud, a muffled sound of effort. Mara listened carefully. Dispatchers learn to hear past words, to hear the body behind the voice. Are you in a vehicle? She asked. Yes. That narrowed things down. Is the vehicle moving? No, it's off. Okay, good. That's good, she said, even though she didn't yet know if it was. Do you know where the vehicle is parked? A lot. A big one. Parking lot. Public place, maybe? Or maybe not. Can you hear other cars? Mara asked. No. The breathing was faster now, shallow. Mara leaned closer to her microphone. I need you to focus on your breathing for me. In through your nose, out through your mouth. We're going to get help to you. She believed that. At least she wanted to. Her system finally chirped softly. Partial location data had come through. Not precise, but something. An industrial zone, edge of the city, warehouses, storage facilities, empty stretches of asphalt that looked the same in every direction. Mara frowned. Can you tell me what kind of vehicle you're in? She asked. There was a pause that felt longer than it should have. I don't know. That gave her pause. You don't know the make or model? I know it's mine, he said, but I can't see it. That wasn't good. Mara's eyes flicked to the clock on her screen, 2 minutes into the call. Are you in the front seat or the back? I think the back. Something cold settled in her stomach. Are you upside down? She asked carefully. Another breath. A soft, almost embarrassed sound that might have been a laugh in another context. Yeah. Mara didn't react outwardly. She'd handled rollover accidents, people pinned in wreckage. This could still be survivable. People got trapped and rescued all the time. Okay, she said. Listen to me very carefully. I need you to tell me if anything is pressing against your chest or neck. Yes. How much pressure? I can't breathe very deep. That was the moment the call changed. Mara dispatched a patrol unit to the general area immediately, marking the situation as a possible entrapment with breathing difficulty. She typed faster now, her calm voice masking the speed of her thoughts. Help is on the way, she told him. You're doing the right thing by calling. I need you to stay conscious, all right? I'm trying, he said. The words came out strained, pulled through effort. Do you have your phone in your hand? No, it's on. Is it using speaker or voice activation? Yes. That explained the sound quality. It also meant something else. Can you move at all? Mara asked. My legs, a little. Okay, that's good. Keep them moving if you can. Wiggle your toes. Anything to keep your blood flowing. He tried. She could hear it, the rustle, the faint knock of something solid. It hurts, he said. I know, Mara replied softly. But you're not alone. I'm right here with you. The line crackled. Then, very quietly, he said something that made her pause. I didn't think it would be like this. Mara swallowed. Like what? So quiet. She glanced around the dispatch floor, phones ringing, keyboards clicking, voices murmuring instructions, reassurance, urgency. Quiet was relative. You're doing great, she said. Can you tell me your name? Evan. Okay, Evan. My name is Mara. I'm staying on the line with you. She always gave her name. Some dispatchers didn't. It wasn't required, but she found that people held on better when they knew there was a real person on the other end. Mara, he repeated softly, as if anchoring himself to it. Yes. Another breath. How old are you, Evan? 20. Too young, her mind supplied unhelpfully. Are you alone? Yes. That answer landed harder than it should have. Mara checked the unit status. Officers were en route, but the area was large. Too large. Evan, she said, I need you to think very carefully. Is there anything around you that makes noise? An alarm, a horn, anything you could activate? I can't reach anything. Okay. That's okay. She didn't say what she was thinking. That sound mattered. Visibility mattered. That finding a silent car in a sea of silent cars at night was harder than it should be. I'm going to ask you some questions, she said. They might seem repetitive, but they're important. Do you know what kind of lot you're in? Is it near a store, a building, a sign? There's a fence. What kind of fence? Tall, metal, chain link probably, industrial. Mara relayed the details, updating the call notes. She imagined officers driving slowly through empty lots, headlights sweeping across rows of parked vehicles and locked gates. Evan, she said, if you feel yourself getting tired, I need you to tell me immediately. I already am. That was honest. Too honest. How long have you been stuck? I don't know. Not long, I think. The clock said otherwise. 6 minutes now. You're doing everything right, Mara said again, even as a quiet unease crept up her spine. Help is getting closer. On the other end of the line, Evan's breathing changed. It grew uneven, punctuated by small sounds of strain. Mara, he asked. Yes, I'm here. If they don't find me? She didn't let him finish. They're looking, she said firmly. Stay with me. There was a pause, then barely audible. Okay? The line stayed open. And somewhere in the dark, a phone lay listening, broadcasting a human being running out of time, while the world above him remained unaware, still, and silent. Time behaves differently inside an emergency call. Seconds stretch. Minutes compress. On Mara's screen, the counter ticked forward with clinical indifference, each number a quiet accusation. 8 minutes. 9. 10. Evan was still breathing. That fact alone felt like something to hold on to. Evan, she said, keeping her voice steady, I need you to keep talking to me. Tell me anything, even if it feels unimportant. There was a delay before he answered. My arm's numb. Which one? Both. Mostly the left. Mara marked it down. Loss of sensation meant circulation issues, compression, the kind of thing that turned dangerous without warning. Can you feel your fingers if you try to move them? A faint rustle, then a shaky exhale. Barely. Okay, she said. That's okay. You're still with me. On another screen, a map refreshed. Patrol units were circling the general area now, but the signal wasn't precise enough. The system showed a radius, not a point. A suggestion, not a location. Technology promised certainty. Reality delivered guesses. Evan, Mara asked, did you drive there yourself? Yes. From where? Home. Do you remember the route? I think so. Tell me. He described turns slowly between breaths. Left here, straight there. A road name he wasn't fully sure of. A building that looked like storage. Every detail was logged, relayed, layered onto the map like transparent sheets that almost lined up, but not quite. Evan, she said gently, what made you climb into the back of the vehicle? Another pause. I dropped my keys. That was all. Such a small reason. The kind no one would question. The kind that felt harmless right up until it wasn't. Mara glanced across the dispatch floor. Other operators were deep in their own calls, voices low, faces unreadable. No one noticed the way her jaw had tightened. Do you remember if the back seats were folded down? She asked. Yes. Did they move when you climbed in? I think so. The sound on the line shifted suddenly, sharper, more urgent. "Mara," Evan said, his voice rising just a little. "I can't breathe as good." Her pulse jumped, but her voice did not. "Okay, look at me. Listen to me. Try to take slower breaths. Short in, short out, don't force it." She motioned discreetly to a supervisor, flagging the call. He leaned over her shoulder, scanning the notes, the map, the time. "Units are on scene," he murmured. "They're checking lots." Mara nodded without looking away from her screen. "Evan," she said, "can you hear anything outside the vehicle? Engines, footsteps, radios?" Silence. Then, "No." The word sounded smaller than before. She tried another angle. "Is there any light inside the car? Even a little?" "No. It's dark." Dark meant closed doors. Closed doors meant limited airflow. Mara's fingers curled slightly against the desk. "Evan," she asked, "do you have enough battery on your phone?" "I don't know. Does it feel warm?" "A little." That wasn't reassuring. The supervisor leaned closer. "We need a better fix," he said quietly. "Ask him about landmarks. Anything reflective." Mara nodded. "Evan," she said, "I know it's hard, but think with me. Is there anything you saw when you parked? A sign? A logo? A number?" His breathing was louder now, closer to the microphone. "There was a big door, like for trucks. Loading bays. Warehouses." Mara relayed it instantly. On the radio channel, an officer's voice crackled back. "Copy! We're checking the south end, multiple truck bays." South end of what? Mara wanted to ask, but the radio moved on. Fragmented information. Half steps. "Evan," she said, "how are you feeling right now?" "I'm tired." That word hit harder than panic ever did. "Okay," she replied, fighting the urge to rush her words. "I need you to stay awake. Talk to me." "I'm trying," he said again. The effort in his voice was unmistakable now. Each breath sounded like it had to squeeze past something that didn't want to move. "Mara?" he asked suddenly. "Yes." "If they open the car, will it hurt?" She paused for a fraction of a second, long enough to choose truth without fear. "You might feel pressure change," she said. "But the people coming know how to help you safely." She hoped that was true. Across the room, someone laughed softly at a joke only dispatchers would find funny. The normalcy of it felt wrong, like laughter in a hospital hallway at night. "Mara," Evan said again, quieter. "I don't think they know where I am." Her throat tightened. "They're looking," she said. "Sometimes it just takes a minute." Another officer radioed in. "We've checked 3 lots. Nothing yet." Mara closed her eyes briefly, then reopened them. "Evan," she said, "I need you to make noise if you can, even small sounds." "I can't move my arms." "What about your legs?" A faint thump, then another. "That's good," she said quickly. "Keep doing that." The thumps continued, weak but persistent. The sound echoed strangely through the phone, hollow and distant. On the map, a new ping flickered, slightly adjusted, still not exact. The supervisor cursed under his breath. "Mara," Evan whispered, "it's getting hard to talk." Her heart sank, but her voice stayed even. "Then listen," she said. "You don't have to talk much. Just breathe with me." She breathed audibly now, slow and controlled, letting him follow her rhythm. In, out. For a few seconds, it worked. Then Evan's breathing stuttered. "Mara," he said, and there was something final in the way he said her name. "If I fall asleep—" "Stay with me," she interrupted, firmer now. "You are not falling asleep. You are staying right here." There was no reply. The line remained open. Mara watched the timer tick, Past 17 minutes. Around the city, patrol cars moved through pools of light and shadow, past locked gates and silent buildings. Radios crackled. Engines idled. And somewhere inside a dark, unmoving vehicle, a phone lay listening as a young man fought a battle no one else could see, while help searched, close enough to matter, but not close enough to touch. The silence didn't arrive all at once. It crept in slowly, the way fog does, thin at first, almost unnoticeable. Evan's breathing was still there, but it had changed. Each inhale sounded shallow, uneven. Each exhale carried a faint rattling edge that made Mara's shoulders tense. "Evan," she said softly, "I need you to respond to me." No answer. Her fingers hovered above the keyboard, then tapped a single key to flag the call again. Unresponsive, but line open. "Evan," she repeated, louder now. "If you can hear me, make any sound at all." Nothing. The supervisor leaned in, his voice low. "Any update from units?" Mara shook her head without looking away from the screen. The radio crackled a second later. "Dispatch, we've covered the east and south lots. No sign of a trapped individual." Mara's chest tightened. "Copy," the supervisor replied, his jaw set. "Continue checking perimeter areas." Mara swallowed and leaned closer to her microphone. "Evan," she said, forcing calm into every syllable. "I'm still here. Help is nearby. You need to stay awake for me." Static answered her. Not full silence, just the faint hiss of an open line. She listened carefully, straining to hear anything beneath it. At first, she thought she heard breathing. Then she wasn't sure anymore. "Evan," she said again, her voice barely above a whisper now. "Talk to me." Seconds passed. Then minutes. At the 23-minute mark, a sound came through the line. Not a word, not a breath. A dull, irregular noise, like fabric shifting, then stopping. Mara's heart pounded. "Evan," she said quickly. No response. The supervisor placed a hand on the back of her chair. He didn't say anything. He didn't have to. They both knew what the absence of sound usually meant. Still, protocol mattered. Mara followed it exactly. "Evan, if you can hear me, blink loudly, cough. Do anything you can." The line remained open. Empty. On the radio, another officer spoke, his tone uncertain. "Dispatch, we've located a vehicle behind one of the warehouses, rear door open." Mara's breath caught. "Copy," the supervisor said sharply. "Check inside immediately." Time stretched thin. Mara didn't speak now. She just listened. The radio erupted a few seconds later. "Dispatch, we have one male inside the vehicle, unresponsive." Her hands trembled slightly as she typed. "EMS en route?" the supervisor asked. "They're already rolling," Mara said, her voice flat, distant to her own ears. She stayed on the line. She always stayed on the line. There were footsteps now, real ones, not imagined. Voices echoed faintly through the phone speaker, muffled and distorted. "Hey, hey, can you hear me?" No reply. The sounds grew urgent. Metal shifted. A door creaked wider. Someone swore under their breath. Mara closed her eyes. The radio crackled again, slower this time. "Dispatch, confirm time of first contact." Her screen displayed it clearly. 2:41 a.m. She gave it. There was a pause on the other end. Too long. Then, "Understood." That word told her everything. A moment later, the line disconnected. The sudden quiet in her headset felt wrong. Too clean, too final. Mara removed it slowly and set it on the desk, staring at the darkened call window on her screen. Around her, the room kept moving. Phones rang. Chairs shifted. Another dispatcher laughed softly at something on their screen. The world did not stop. It never did. Her supervisor spoke quietly behind her. You did everything right. Mara nodded, though the words didn't settle. Because right didn't feel right. What stayed with her wasn't the panic. It wasn't even the outcome. It was the waiting, the way Evan had trusted a voice he couldn't see. The way reassurance had filled the space where action should have been. The way help had been close enough to matter, yet distant enough to fail. Later, reports would be written, timelines reconstructed, procedures reviewed. Words like miscommunication, signal drift, delay would appear on paper, neat and impersonal. But none of those words would capture the sound of a human being growing quieter on the other end of a line. None of them would explain the moment when breathing became absence. Mara logged out at the end of her shift, just after sunrise. Outside, the city looked ordinary. Commuters moved through intersections. Coffee shops opened their doors. Life resumed its rhythm. Somewhere, a phone lay still in the back of a vehicle, its last call already archived, its purpose fulfilled and forgotten. But inside one dispatcher's memory, the line never truly disconnected. Because some emergency calls don't end when the phone goes dead. They echo, and they always